Next one is committee of the whole dates.
I provided some information on this. This is really a board decision. A couple of things just to note, that right now, if we did change them to the fourth Thursday, we do not have a backup for Mr. Prokes to conduct our filming. I mean, if that's something the board would want to incur an expense for, to try to have somebody trained, we could definitely do that. We do have some agreements already. Triton uses the Alumni Lounge on Thursday. The reason we use the Alumni Lounge for that second meeting, we decided to televise all our meetings, was it's less cost from TV production to run all their stuff down here, so there's less hours we pay. That expense would be minimal, but it is a cost consideration. So we would have to move around some of our rentals and move around our location if there was a conflict. Some of those are set, some of those have not been set. Mary Ann and I did check. It is in the school code that we should, on an annual basis, even though we approved the 2-year meeting calendar, we should provide notice in July of our meetings for the upcoming year, which we're planning on doing. So that's why we need to make a decision on this if we want to move the committee of the whole to Thursdays.
Our last committee of the whole was in room 201. Are you saying that we're going to move all the committee of the wholes down here now?
No, what I'm saying is on Thursdays, Triton already uses our building for yoga and room 201 on Thursdays.
Oh.
So we'd have to move to a different location, most likely here, thus increasing our cost.
Well, we could make Triton move here, and we could go up there if we wanted to, I assume.
We could do that.
The board would have that much say, so wouldn't they?
Yes.
And the other thing is, you raised, again, as often happens when we ask questions, is there's no backup for Mr. Prokes,
No.
even though we're going to televise both. If he isn't here, we can't televise it?
I did find that out today,
So,
Mr. Walsh.
I presume if we
It's a
think,
unique skill set.
if only one person alive has the unique skill set and we want to televise these, don't we, does the administration think we should figure out a backup plan anyway?
We have talked about that. We have one staff member that's on leave. And with our current staffing constraints and trying to cut budget, we don't have anybody trained. I mean, we could talk to Mr. Prokes to see if we can set up an hourly rate for someone maybe that served as an intern for him in the past. I mean, I'm sure there's a way that we would address it in the event of Mr. Prokes having an emergency, but it's something that the district has not addressed prior to this question.
Okay.
Do we also have the cost? I know when we first started, we weren't, I guess it brought up, we weren't filming both. We were filming the formal board meeting, and we weren't filming the committee of the whole. Do we have the cost for filming, and is it necessary, or do we want to film both? Is it necessary that we film the committee of the whole?
I've talked to people who say they get a lot out of watching the committee of the whole meetings
I think
on TV.
I think also we talked about in our communication plan, trying to find out ways to reach out to the community, and I've received a lot of positive feedback that people watch the meetings here instead of coming.
Well, with that in mind, that's even all the more reason to have a backup from Mr. Prokes, unless he's Superman too. But
Right.
I like him, he does a great job, but we all miss sometimes, so.
Okay, so do I have a motion on this, please?
Well, okay, so you make a motion and then
Well,
discussion.
you asked for it. Do you want to make the motion?
Be resolved that the Board of Education, Township High School District 208, Cook County, Illinois, hereby approves rescheduling the Committee of the Whole meetings from the 4th Tuesday to the 4th Thursday of each month for the 2012-2013 school year as presented in the June 12, 2012 Board Agenda Packet.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Who seconded?
Tim Walsh.
Tim Walsh seconded.
So-
And the reason, I just want to clarify this for the record, the reason why we're making this move is because you have a conservation meeting on the fourth Tuesday of the month.
Yes, I have a conflict with
Because of conservation meeting.
of being a commissioner for the city of Brookfield on the Conservation Commission. You know, in
Okay.
2 years, when we asked, when would we want to have the committee, you know, I didn't realize we were making our 2-year agreement for committees. Otherwise, I would have, when we asked, when's a good day to have the committee of the whole, I would have said, I have a conflict, I can't make it on that day. We embrace, the C team. Conservation is a lifelong philosophy. And secondly, the committee of the whole meetings tend to go very late. Having them on Thursday would also be helpful so that you only have Friday, but the 1 a.m. meetings on Tuesday kind of throw the week off a little bit in addition.
Okay.
So.
Mary Ann?
Wait, we need to discuss this. I'm going to vote no, and it's nothing personal against Laura, but I think I like the idea of having the Tuesday thing. It's not just for me, I think it's useful for the community. And when you throw in this thing about TV, we're not having TV, I think that's just a total deal breaker here.
Okay.
So John, in 2 years, or in a year from now, we're going to have a new board. Maybe all the same people or different. And I understand, I respect your choice. But then we're going to ask when we should have the committee of the whole meeting. There may be different people, and they might say, I can't do that Tuesday.
And they may not.
Perhaps. That may happen. Bring it up for a vote again.
Any other discussion? Mary Ann?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think the Mr. Proch situation should be a deal breaker, because I think we highlight the fact that publicize is important, and there's always in every plan a weak link, and if there's only one person available to do it, we need to have a backup. And I appreciate that people have opinions about the dates, but it's, again, two things. One is it's a good thing Laura did bring this to the surface, because we didn't know we would lose that opportunity. And hopefully we don't continue to find things this way. And the second thing is the other reason, if the board, our agreement with Triton allows us to pick what rooms they're in.
Yeah.
So that really is not a consideration. If they don't want to come down here, then they can go somewhere else. But, I know they rent, but we don't give them a specific space to rent, so.
Any other discussion? Mary Ann?
Ms. Ruska?
Yes.
Dr. King?
No.
Mr. Moon?
No.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Welch?
No.
Mr. Gritchen?
No.
Mr. Cindy?
No.